All right, ladies and gentlemen,
And me.
boys and girls, everyone, we are live here with the DM and friends, and on the Thursday night live stream. And I have two of my good friends with me, Chris Clark, who's over here, and Stephen Clements, who's down here. And there goes my camera moving. Yeah, we're gonna have a little discussion group tonight. We're gonna roundtable discussion, whatever. We're gonna talk about a previous video that I did. I think it came out last Friday, and I called it DM Goals Redux, and it's just kind of four principles that I kind of think work for new and used DMs. So yeah, we're gonna talk about that tonight.
I call it DM Gold, but then I'm just sucking up. So
DM Gold, I love it.
Wow. No, I don't think Chris is overselling it because like your DM tips videos and player tips videos, 90% of my comments are like, yes, everyone needs to hear this.
Yeah.
Everyone. And
Yeah.
and Angelo hasn't paid me or Chris a dime for that. I'm tracking. And good evening, everybody. Good evening.
Well, it's good.
Yeah. Good evening, Greg, Freezer, and Matt. Thanks you guys for jumping on. Yeah, we're gonna cover that. I think if those of you guys that watched the video last Friday that came out, it was a redux of what I kind of think are principles that we could, any DM could use or live by, I guess. And we're gonna talk about them. And then I know for a fact that this guy down here has got some, and I know that this guy over here has got some that can add to the list or totally blow my list away. So and as we go, I'd love to hear comments from you guys, what's worked and what hasn't worked for you guys. And we'll go through it. By the way, before we're going to talk a little bit before we get into this, but I just wanted to say that around the half hour mark, we're going to have a little giveaway too. I think it's going to be, if I'm not mistaken, Chris, it's going to be some credit for drive-through. So we'll ask a question, and the first one to answer it right will get the giveaway. So kind of like what we did the last two times. But yeah, Chris, what is it going to be? Since you are the one that's a mastermind on it,
we're going to give away a $25 coupon to our drive-through offerings, so that I don't wind up giving somebody something they already have. And
yeah, that's a
we
good
have a lot
idea.
of stuff on our site that you can actually get delivered for like $25 total. So yeah, that should be to let you give it to them. You won't be able to afford the hardcovers. If you want to upgrade to hardcovers, you're going to have to dig down deep. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So guys, how are you guys doing? Before we get into the meat, how's everybody doing?
Let's see. Well, first I want to say that I'm not sponsored by him, but I do want to plug my boy Larry Wickman, the Midnight Shuffler, and his series of shuffling horror board games, where you basically make a B horror movie using cards and dice. They run about 2 hours long, and they're fantastic games. I run them at cons. I got my friend in New Hampshire, Pat, hooked on it. Now he runs them at cons. Shuffling horror, some good stuff. And drink check. What we drinking, gentlemen? I got some tequila. It's some Patron. Coffee's good, and I got some more Hungarian Tokay right here. So a little hard, a little soft.
I can't,
Oh, you got to keep it together, huh? Okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. The shuffling horror game I've heard of. They play that on cruise ships with the sticks and the. And then you try and knock the other guys off the big numbers, and that's not the same game, or?
Yeah, which one again was that again?
Yep.
No, the shuffling horror board, or no, that's not it. I don't think that's it.
Yeah.
Sounded,
but he's not giving me any feedback.
Or like a reasonably close to me, so I think you had it.
Oh well, all right.
But man, I see the comments are already hopping.
They are hopping. Yeah, we got. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I got the feeling that you went back through and watched some of those excerpts from me and Mark talking about all his acting and his games and stuff. So cool beans, dude. And Matt Sherman, we don't need no stinking notes. I saw Chris has at least 1 page of notes for tonight, and I've got like 40. So we're gonna get comfortable. We're gonna be here for a while. I mean, I took all these notes for this talk tonight because Angelo's worth it.
Thanks, man. Hey, before we get into it, guys, I do want to say that April 5th still is the date that the Kickstarter goes live for Castle Wolf Moon. And I do have, and I'm going to bring it up here. I'll bring it up several times this live stream. By the way, thanks everybody for being on. This means so much to me that everybody comes on and we have fun. And I got my buddies here with me. I just love it. I mean, it warms my heart. Castle Wolf Moon Kickstarter's got a new place to go. It's the backer kit. So please, guys, go here, scan this code. You'll get notified for, Chris is hard at work. He can talk more about it. I'm going to not let him talk because I know he'll talk forever and we want to get into this. So, yeah, go on there, scan this and get your notification for when it does go live. We're going to plug it every single week. We're going to talk about it for the next eternity. So, hey, what's up, Chris? Chris Shazam Silva. Man, I love that guy. Old buddy of mine. Thanks for joining, Chris. Hey, guys. But yeah, scan this code and you'll get the notification when it goes live. We're going to talk about it forever, but I'm going to leave it up there for another minute and we'll get going. So what do we want to do? Do we want to just go down the list of the videos? So those of you guys that are just joining, I did a video on Friday that came out, part of my Dungeon Master Tips Advice series, and it was called the DM Goals Redux. And basically what it was me redoing what I thought are principles that Dungeon Masters should kind of focus on, to have a great game. And so we're going to talk about that. I'm going to give my 4 principles, and obviously these guys are going to talk about theirs, and we're going to go through them. But I hope you guys had a chance to watch the video, and if you didn't, I'll put it in the show notes where you can kind of check it out. But the first one, you guys ready for this? So the first one that I kind of thought was pretty important, and I talked about in the video, was that for your players as a DM, you should make choices that are meaningful for your party. And that's the first one. Like, you don't just throw crap out there. Make it meaningful. And I'm talking about campaign play, because I believe, and this is just my thought, that one-shots and con play is a lot different than campaign play that you come back every single week. It's just a different style of game, and I don't know if you guys agree with that, but to me, it's kind of a different style. You're more invested in it when you're campaign play.
Oh, yeah.
Con play is just let's just go full blower, it's balls out, and that's just my thought. But do you guys agree with that a little bit?
Well, sure. I think we ran across this once before when we were discussing from a different aspect, but anything in a dungeon should have a reason for being there. And if it's a dungeon in a campaign, it should have an overarching reason for being there, in my opinion. Yeah. In other words, all of the details should always be important.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't throw, everything's going black for poor Angelo. That doesn't mean you shouldn't.
Well, I guess we'll just have to carry the show.
Oh, he's back. Oh, whew.
I don't know what happened there. Sorry, guys.
Restoration, and it worked. So yeah.
Yeah. I think it's I think it definitely is 2 different types of styles of play, and I think
Chris,
that
are we still tracking?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right,
can you guys see me?
Yeah, we see you. Good.
Okay, go ahead, Steven. You were going to say something.
Oh, well, I was just in awe of Chris's observations, because he's getting us started off strong. But no, man, that's good stuff. And remember, it's a game, and everybody at the table is a player, and so everybody at the table should have a making something important happen at the table. So that was a good point. don't really have anything to add to that one.
Yeah. I think, back to the point, I think, the number one thing I think, and I'll just repeat it, make choices that are meaningful for your players. And I think that's key. You don't want to just throw out garbage. You want to make it so they're meaningful. There's consequences behind the choice, whether it's left or right. And, that adds tension to the game, which is a big thing I talk about. Tension is you want to create tension, because if the game is dull, you're not going to have players come back every week. Why would they come back? If it's dull and there's no consequences. So that's kind of why I say that. My second point is, I think as a DM, we have to be consistent. You have to be consistent with what you deliver with your game. You have to be consistent with, as small as NPC names. You can't always every week figure out what that name of that same PC is or NPC is. You got to be consistent. You got to be consistent in rulings. You got to be consistent in how you treat the table. You got to be consistent in how you deliver. You know what I mean? I have to work on it every week, every single, and this is all, to be honest with you, this is for me. This is to remind me that, how to be a better DM. But yeah, I think it's very, because inconsistency kills trust, and you want to have trust with your players. So being consistent, I think, builds trust. And I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Well, if water flows uphill in your campaign, it should always flow uphill in the campaign if the circumstances are the same in both cases, if that makes sense. In other words, don't even be afraid to bend the rules of physics when you're running a magical campaign in a fantasy land.
You better believe it.
It should always be the same way. Why is water running uphill here again, Chris? Well, okay, do you feel the breeze from the south? Do you not hear the pixies in the air? I mean, don't ask me. Use your own senses. Figure it out for yourselves. But yes, there is a reason the water flows uphill consistently if there's a breeze from the south and pixies can be heard in the air.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. How about you, Steven?
I'll go with the rules consistent. If you're going to run a game by the book, run a game by the book. If you're going to change the rules, feel free, but be consistent in what you do. So if you start off the campaign or a game saying, we're 90% by the book, but this stuff over here I've changed to how, then stick with it. Because I can play any set of rules you've got, but if during play, if like mid combat, you start changing some stuff that like I need to make decisions based off, screw you, buddy. It's where the rules change in the middle of them playing.
Yeah, that's the worst. I think that's the worst. That's a
it takes you out of the game and it ruins the suspension of disbelief. It really
the immersion factor
painfully jerks you out of the enjoyable part of the game.
Yeah, I am seeing some lag on your side, Steven.
And it wouldn't be a live stream.
Freezer also said it too. Chris is coming. Yep, we lost him. I think he probably got to reconnect.
Oh. All right.
That's really
by the power of Cuthbert.
Yeah. Close the window and let the Wi-Fi out. He's doing it right now, Freezer. Yeah, thanks so much, Freezer. Yeah, thanks for that feedback, dude. Appreciate it. So yeah, I think to double click on the consistency, not to beat it up. You know what I mean? I think it's super important, whether it's rules or just trying to be consistent as a human being too. As a DM. And what do you guys think in the audience too? I think it's just been my experience that if you're consistent, you'll have players come back, and if you're inconsistent, it's
I know Dragon played with me before and played Cataract in Philly and just owned it because he knew me well enough as a GM to know that nothing is ever in the adventure without a purpose. And he figured out early on that the purpose was not there so that the characters had something to kill.
Yeah.
There was something more going on, and he took the time to find out, or at least figure out part of what was going on. And then, oh my God, they just ruled that. My adventure was a complete player overhaul of the GM, who was, put out in the sun with steaks and honey and red ants or something. I don't know.
Yeah. So that's the next. So that's number 2 for me. Well, we didn't go on to the next one, Stephen. By the way, welcome back, my friend.
It's good to be here. I enjoy being here so much. I come into this stream as many times as I can.
And just 3 words though, okay, Stephen? Pay the bill. Okay, I'm kidding.
Pay the bill. Yeah. Right, I'll drink water to that. So my number 3, So my number 3 one, and I see this. I don't know if you guys know. Well, I see this as a problem for a lot of new and older DMs, because I think you get it in your mind that you want things to happen a certain way as a DM, and that's not good DMing. So my third principle that I try to live by is to let the players be clever. Let them be clever. And I've said this in a past video. If the players figure out how to get around something that you thought of was, oh my God, I'm going to totally get them with this room or with this trap or with this, and they figure out a way around it. And Chris is so good at this because he's a player in my game every Wednesday night. And you piss me off sometimes, damn it. But if the players can figure out a clever way of doing something, let it happen. That is not something bad. That is awesome gaming.
Yes, those should be the golden GM moments. Those should be the moments that you're glad that you're the DM. And look at these guys. They're oh my goodness. The IQ level in this party went up 40 points just since they started gaming with me. It really ought to be player brilliance should always make a GM stay, not say, oh my goodness, now I have to come up with even tougher monsters. Oh heavens. No, you don't. You have to come up with more challenging situations, and that doesn't necessarily mean tougher monsters. It means trying to find something that they didn't think of, but should perhaps have.
If you're the DM and you're trying to surprise your players, let them surprise you too, and it's okay. Let go.
Yeah, you're kind of chopping over there, brother.
Awesome.
Oh no.
Yeah, we lost him again. So Matthew says, as a DM, I seldom say no. If they can logically explain their actions, there's always a chance. I agree with that, bro.
Yep, on the money.
Yeah, that really is. Freezer says, Coder 2 did it well. You are in a room full of machines using intelligence and see the machines detected by heat. You can simply raise temperature a few degrees, and now the machine can't tell you. Okay, I think I played Coder. I don't remember that, but yeah, I think it's just key, man, because that's great gameplay. Is if when you have your players thinking of how they're going to get around something, and they actually do it. That's the whole goal, I think, for playing D&D. I think that's
well, playing role playing. Period. The greatest moment of that type that I ever had was playing Lance, and one of the guys was a criminal, and had the ability to lie. Was his number one ability, and he looked at me and he said, "Since that's my best skill, doesn't it also enable me to detect when other people aren't telling the complete truth?" And I was like, "Oh my God, of course it would. That's brilliant."
Yeah.
And so when do I notice this guy seems to exhibit the most body language that tells me he's not telling the complete truth? And I let him percentage and whatnot, and he figured out what the guy was actually lying about in his speech during the speech. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And of course, it destroyed my adventure in terms of being able to kill off any characters. Didn't care. Really didn't care.
Yeah. I think it's pretty key. I think it's key to let your players do whatever they can come up with. And if you're going to block that, I think that's really that's not your job. That's not your job as a dungeon master. All right, without Steven, we'll go to number 4. And I think this is a really big one. Okay, because at number 4 for me is protecting the table. Number 4, I think, is protecting the table. Now, I've done a lot of videos on this in the past because I firmly believe that this, if you don't protect your table's going to fall apart. And guess what? You're not going to have a game, especially a campaign game that happens every week. You know what I mean? And I've had to, as a DM, make a hard decisions like, bro, this is probably not the game for you, or you're not jiving with the group, or hey, we're seeing this. What do you think? You know what I mean? I also default on the fact is I'm not here to make everybody happy. You know what I mean? I'm here to protect the table and make sure that, or contribute to the fact that everybody's going to come back next week because we're awesome. You know what I mean? Oh, there you go. But yeah, so I think protecting the table is a really big thing. I mean, what do you think? And tell me some of your wisdom too. Like,
one of the things that I don't think you hit upon that I find is absolutely an essential for an ongoing campaign is you never want them to figure out your entire story. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So you spend all this time, you craft a campaign arc. And you want to make sure that they're always curious to find out just one more piece of information, even if it means risking the party to do so, because that's what'll keep them coming back. They want to know that they were right the whole time. And, so-and-so is a traitor and I knew it. And, if we go up to the wizard's lab, I'm sure we'll find evidence of that because he'll have a guardian that won't be a humanoid. It'll be an orc, or an orcat, goblin, a hobgoblin, something of that nature.
Yeah.
And keeping that level of edge of your seat exhilaration and wonderment is critical. And you can't just do it with more and more magic or more and more items or more and more experience points.
Yeah.
You have to do it with greater and greater revelation of the world in which the characters are living.
Yeah. I like that you said that, Chris. I like that you say that, don't let them, but craft something. I guess what I'm hearing from you is craft something.
Wow. Welcome to the Chris Show. You're back.
Yeah, here we go. Let's see if we can get him back here. Here we go.
Yeah, Wi-Fi is not the greatest. Oh, thank goodness.
There we go.
I just switched to a whole different computer, so screw this thing. It's going to get beaten later on.
Was it something I said, Stephen?
Yeah.
Maybe it just made the circuits too hot. Maybe that's what it was. I mean, I have read your amorous novel, so
that's true. Yes,
you got away with that tongue of yours, or I'm sorry, those fingers of yours. Or I'm sorry. What were we talking about?
Well, all
right. We made it through all 4 of your points.
Yeah, well, we went back. We went into point number 4, which was protect your table, and I the only reason why I added that, and I think it's pretty important, because if you don't protect your table, then you won't have a game next week. We are focusing on campaign play, and I will say that I've had to, as a DM over the years, because we've all been running games, whether it's DMing, GMing, or keepering. We've all had to make those hard decisions where you talk to a single player, or you talk to make that kind of decision, like, hey, bro, maybe this isn't your type of game, or they leave or something like that. But your job, I think, is to protect the table in the fact that Yeah, I've done videos on the past about it. I think there's, you guys get what I'm trying to say. But
I'm really glad that you keep hammering that point too, because you're not under any obligation to play with certain people. I mean, you want to play with somebody
everyone.
because these are group games for the
Yeah.
most part, but you want to keep people from ruining it and ruining the fun for other people. And then I've seen so many folks that will keep enduring some jackass that keeps ruining the fun for everybody
Yeah.
else because they feel like some obligation, like they have to, or like they would be the bad person for doing it. No, like you don't want to play a video game on a console when you're done. Just turn it off.
Yeah.
Just walk away.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true.
Someone's giving you crap on social media. Don't cry boo-hoo and have an existential meltdown. Log off. Block them.
Yeah, it's true.
The power is yours.
Yeah.
And so, no, that's one of your points. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
And the way you put it too, protect the table.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. It's funny, and you and I have gone back and forth about a couple of the videos where I talk about, table spotlight and, dealing with disrupted players and all that. And, I always kind of lean on the fact of you're not a dictator, but you do need to exhibit some type of leadership. You know what I mean? And, and the leadership comes out with protecting the table. And so let's say I do have a player that is always the one that's making the decisions, kind of taking the spotlight from everybody else. And that's your job as a game master, DM, or a keeper, or whatever the hell you want to call it, to go around and bring other people in, because you have different personalities. You have different, people that are introverted, extroverted, scared to make decisions, overly zealous about decisions. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't mean that player who's talks all the time is a bad player. It means that he is passionate about what he does and can't hold back, because then that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. But then you have the ones that are quite, but so it's your job to kind of, hey, what do you do, bro? Hey, what's your character doing? Or, it's kind of so that's kind of falls under the category of protecting the table for me. It's not just you're an asshole and blah, 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 and I got to get rid of you. No, it's more of like spreading the wealth and learning to read your table, read your players, and read your people, and read what's going on. Being a people person. I think as DMs, we have to be people persons. Is that right? People persons?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. So you know what I mean. So,
but in whether it's a game master or a dungeon master, you're the one in charge. Nothing happens without you.
True.
And if it can happen without you, well, then someone else should be running the game. So yeah, you do need to be a leader. And it's a saying that I learned when I was in the Army is that when in charge, be in charge. And when you're not in charge, be a good follower. And those are two separate skill sets. Leadership is a whole set of skills and aptitudes and mindsets, and being a good follower, it's a different set. And some people are good at one and not the other. But being good at both is clutch for working in group dynamics, like gaming tables. Sometimes you'll be a player, sometimes you'll be a dungeon master. You need to be able to do well at both, because some folks, they say that, I'm a forever DM. Is it because no one else will run it? Or is it that when you're the player, you're such a jackass, no one wants to run for you? It's possible. Like, have you backed yourself into that corner? Because sometimes we are our own worst enemies. And well, I know one guy that he runs a great game. I've played with him several times online, and let's see, he ran Gods of the Fall for me, and the Harry Dresden RPG. We had great times. Introduced me to 5e, and but he can't give up that sense of control.
Oh man,
to be a player.
Yeah, that's tough for some people, man.
But see, that's the thing too. As the GM, especially, solutions where everybody wins are the best solutions.
Yeah.
If one player wins at the detriment of another player, it's not a good solution.
Right. And you're speaking from a sense of enlightened self-interest, where it doesn't just have to be how I wanted them to win. And that tacks back to your point 3 about letting the players be creative, and that if they found out a way to succeed and you didn't foresee that coming, well, you get that little bit of joy of being surprised.
Yes.
But only if you can let go of your precious creation enough to enjoy it.
I never write the ending to my stories. Yeah. I only write what's occurred up until the point where you guys came in. Beyond that, the story's wide open and the players write it. I don't.
Yeah. It's the players to develop that. Right. You know what I mean? It's what their actions do. It's what develops that. Yeah. You can write a premise, or is that the right word? A premise, or a kind of a foundation, but they're going to build on that. And I really, for my players, I kind of expect them to tell the story, because you know what I mean? They're players in it, but they're also developing the story by their actions. Right. You know what I mean?
Very much so, yeah.
Yeah.
And I see that D-Reg is he was talking about hookahs at one point and turkey. And listen, if we want to do a smoking edition, I'll bust out my brass hookah that I got in Istanbul and fire it up with some of that apple jelly tobacco, and we'll just, wear your fine silks, gentlemen.
So you didn't see when I was complaining about my wife being addicted to the Wizards of Baking, and I did a little cartoon about it. And,
Well, I didn't.
3 wizards sitting around a hookah. I was like, what does she see in this Wizards of Baking? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I do want to bring up a comment that one of the guys said on here. Let me see. There was one that was interesting. Freezer says, let me put it in here. He says, the issue I do see is some people want to play, but they don't want to engage. They simply wait for combat, but besides that, they find the story and the clues interesting, but don't engage. So that's interesting. I did a video on that, and I really believe that there are solutions to players. And I did a video on getting your players engaged. And I think it is an art. It's an art. And I think it is the job of the GM to, and that's when it comes to player spotlight, really just one solution I see is go around the room and ask what people are doing. Don't just wait for them to talk to you. You can, as a DM, say, see that guy that's being quiet over here. And maybe it's not because he's quiet or she's quiet. It's maybe because he or she feels that, it's not their turn. You know what I mean? So that shifting that focus, and I've seen it, and I have seen it in con games and in campaign games where, wow, that person really comes out, and they're like, oh my God, look what's in there. You know what I mean? So as a DM, you got to really know your read the table. And I think campaign games are easier because you get to know generally who the people I have to game with in a campaign are my friends. You know what I mean? Yeah, it makes it pretty easy.
I think what Freezer's talking about is the person, though, that normally just plays like, I don't know. Gosh, I'm trying to think. Plays World War II or a first-person shooter on his console game at home, and then when he role plays, all he wants to do is get into the combat aspect of it. The funny thing is, they invented a monster way back in ancient Greece to deal with the guy who only gets involved when there's combat. It was called the Hydra. Because every time the combat guy would come in and cut a head off, he'd get 2 back. And it forced the combat guy to use his head and say, wait a minute, the old stuff ain't working. We got to do something different here. And yet not to question his own ability to necessarily kill something. Or to, that's a horrible way to put it, to necessarily meet and succeed at the challenge presented. Okay, because it isn't always go kill something. Sometimes it's, well, maybe you should have talked to the Hydra. Although, no, that would have got him eaten in the case of ancient Greece. But, you apply fire to the neck when you cut the head. Oh, well, look, this is working. Okay. Yeah. And you bring them in to a combat experience, if nothing else to start with, a combat experience that is richer than what they are used to. Because it's role-playing, it's not Zelda.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Some of the best games I've DM'd were non-combat games. I mean, to be honest with you, I know, Chris, you're going to hate me to say that because we had one recently, this guy over here, in our Wednesday game where it was all role-playing. And Chris was like,
Where are my?
Well, you
where
can't
are
see my
eats?
fingers.
Yeah.
Where's my soul? Where's
my loot?
But yeah, it's called a role-playing game.
Play a role. That's the game.
Yeah.
Can I play a jelly roll?
No.
Never mind.
Hey,
I thought you wrote a game where you could play a jelly roll. Oh wait, no, that was a teddy bear.
A teddy bear.
But I imagine you could play a teddy bear filled with jelly, right?
Actually, if you draw eyes on it and stick some toothpicks in it, you could use the jelly roll. It just has to be. You have to be able to tell which way's the front. That's all.
Oh man, you must have made Angelo like ugly.
Yeah, I got excited. Yeah.
It happens.
I'm on hotel internet, you guys, so I'm super sorry. Next week we'll be back where I'm supposed to be. I'm in LA right now in a hotel, and it's
of course it's the hotel internet.
Horrible.
One word, Angelo, and I'm done. Don't worry, Grampers. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
I don't have that excuse. I just have 15-year-old PC that says it's running fine, but it's okay. I got a new laptop that is running fine. But some stuff that y'all are touching at about players not engaging, they're just waiting for the comment. They're taking that passive role, like you talked about in your video about being a better player, does lead to my first point I was going to add to what you're talking about, things that the DM needs to keep in mind, things they need to focus on. So I'm going to read just a little bit from this to help organize the thoughts. But DMs remember that you're a player, and everyone else at the table owes you. You don't just owe them. Angelo, there was some like preamble you had to your DM goals video where you were talking about basically there's some folks have the idea that DMs are just like dance for me monkey, like they're the ones who they have to do the fun. Everyone has to have fun, and everyone's fun is the DM's responsibility. And D&D 5e is written towards that. And the D&D YouTubers, like especially some of the biggest ones, they lean so hard on that. If someone at the table isn't having a good time, it's because you suck as a DM and you're a bad person. And fun is the only thing. You're supposed to be like a fun shepherd and tuck them in at night, and they get to play whatever stupid stuff they want to do. And it's all your fault if someone is sad for a second. And screw off, because everybody there's a player. They owe you a good time as much as you owe them a good time. So DMs, don't let them make you their trained monkey. This is not all on you. You have the biggest share of it. They owe you, because without you, they ain't playing. And most of them, if you don't step up to do it, they're not going to step up to do it. So guess what? They don't get to play at all. So bilk it. Make them buy you pizza. Make them entertain you. They should be dancing for you in your situations.
Don't beat around the bush, Steven. Say what you feel.
I'm just going to put this up here. According to the grades, even. I agree with you, man. And that's I think I did my first DM goals was, you're there to have fun. You know what I mean? We are there to have fun.
Right. Yeah.
But your fun is not it's not, that doesn't depend on you, is what I guess what I'm trying to say.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure.
Okay. Yeah. I got shuttled into the green room for some reason.
He wanted to be at the bottom of the screen, but no, you're going back up there.
There's a girl in the green room.
This is like disco. Wow,
yeah, I'm gonna put you guys up here so I can point to you. How's that? Yeah.
Before we leave the topic,
that's great. I think. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. One other thing about guys that just sit in the back for combat. Okay, this is one of the secrets of Cataract, and the secret is I wrote that module because when the water hits, everybody gets to save one item, right? And it immediately tells me the focus of their character so that I can bend the story around what people want their character to be in the adventure.
Yeah, that's true. Didn't even think of that.
So if the guy grabs his sword, I know he's combat guy, right? If you're faced with combat guy week after week and it's starting to get a little old and he's starting to want to fall out of it, and give him a sentient sword. Because believe me, he'll be like, oh, and it's +4 and it warps and yeah, and by the way, it wants to not go back in the scabbard yet. What? In fact, it would like to eat a sheep, and there happens to be one on the road right now. You're telling me my sword is saying this to me? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Oh boy. I need a priest, it's something like that. But it immediately will pull them in again to an aspect of the game they have yet to experience, but will enjoy because it's related to what they already like.
Yeah.
It gives them an end. It gives them something to relate to, and a natural starting point.
Yes.
Like they don't have to think of some emotional connection to someone else. They're only thinking about what they're interested in, and then run it from there. And that's how you get people hooked in a conversation. Get them talking about themselves.
Yes.
Because people
it's
love
true.
talking about themselves.
But now that you made me bare my soul on Cataract, I don't know. It's,
you might just
now we know.
buy a
Now we
copy,
know.
right?
No, you could just get a copy. Don't worry.
Yeah, but Drag also brings up a point that I've hit on many times, is that those players should likely just be playing video games instead. And since 4E and 5E were pretty explicitly designed to try to capture video gamers, that might tack back to the lack of player engagement, especially amongst newer players or ones that are like 5E mentality, because they're used to in a video game not talking. They're used to following the plot, making decisions in fights, and then characters talking at them. And they might get a menu where they can pick some things, but that doesn't equip you to come up with answers on your own, ways to engage on your own. And that's not good. It's not good. Because what was it? TSR, products of your imagination. Though for so long D&D was really good at getting you to cultivate your imagination. So yeah,
and then it got really visual. Got really visual and very compartmentalized, I think.
Although it got really weird because I went into the Dungeon Hobby Shop one day and I tried to pay with money of my imagination for the products of the imagination, and they wouldn't do it.
Ernie wouldn't take it.
No, Ernie would not take it.
Darn you, Ernie. And also to Ernie, as somebody just mentioned him a couple days ago or yesterday.
I really like that, Steven. That thing you touched on. I mean, that's conversation 101. It really is get somebody talking about themselves and get some. So, and it kind of goes back to gaming. Get people involved. And if you shift that spotlight and you're good at doing that, you'll get people involved and you'll get people engaged. And obviously you got to tell a good story and not, and all those other things, but you got to learn also how to play the table. You know what I mean? Because you're right. You're a player too. And some of the best games I've ever played in was games I've ran for people, and not, I guess that's like me toot my own horn, isn't it? That's kind of rude, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, I've had a lot of fun is what I'm trying to say. And, so anyways, I think that's really, you touched on a good point there.
And older editions also lean far more heavily into the trope of the player characters being out to make their names, make their fortunes. They had motivation to be there, and it was at very least implicit in it. But some of the early modules, I think B2 might have even said like, y'all are going to make your fortune out here. So they had a motivation. And one thing you can do with your players is ask them, what's this character want to do? Why are they leaving the safety of their home to go face death and getting turned to stone and shat out by goblins? Why are they here? I guarantee you most 5e players have never been asked that. Even the ones who write the 5-page backstories, which I'm a fan of, by the way, but I don't make it. But as a counterpoint to the guys who say, I don't come up with any backstory, I just let my character develop at the table. Well, that you're probably not going to develop a whole lot at the table because you're going to put in as much thought at the table as you did before you got there. Just give them just like one idea about who this character is. That's something to start with. Like Chris said, what was important to them? And So Chris just baked it into the cake, and so it snuck up on people. But you can be explicit and say, what does your character care about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Matt has to get out. Oh, 5 a.m.
Yeah, hey, Matt's got to get out. Yeah, exactly. Take care, Matt. Right before we do the giveaway, I think this is a great time to do that. Hopefully Matt's still around, but if he's not, we should do this now before we get too far. Chris Clark has Chris Clark, the guy in the corner up here. Is going to give out $25 gifts credit to drive-through. Yeah, let's do that now before we get any further. What's a good question to ask the audience? And I want to ask the question, and then the first person to put it in will be the winner of it. And then
to ask a question that only someone who's actually played in Castle Wolfmoon would be able to answer, because a lot of people have over the years.
No, that
really
probably
fair.
wouldn't be. Yeah, that's not fair. Let's let Steven, and I think it has to be gaming related, maybe AD&D or something like that. Last week I asked what the armor class of a skeleton was. So, yeah, what do you think? What's a good question to ask?
What's the most overpowered first level clerical spell? You know now.
Well, that's an opinion. That's not fact.
Mine was going to be some probably telling too much on Angelo question. It would be gaming related, but he might get embarrassed and turn beat red, or his camera might go off.
Get dragged now, don't worry.
Oh, I can't. There's no nothing that can get me embarrassed.
I like Chris's question though. That's really good. What's the most overpowered first level cleric spell? And just to be sure, which edition are we talking? 1E? Okay.
Yeah, are there other editions?
First edition, yeah. You got an answer, yeah, but it's got to be factual because I think that's an opinion. I think for me that I could answer something and somebody else could answer something different, and be true.
If you role play it properly, you could convince me that your answer is correct.
Okay. So you're talking about command.
See,
I know you're talking about command.
That silly lance game has just changed the way I DM things.
Oh, Matt's still here. He's waiting for that. He's waiting for that question.
I can't win my own reward. I can't. It's all right.
The first one to answer Steven's question correctly is going to be the winner of this credit. Go ahead.
Okay. So this is gaming related because the live stream is gaming related. True or false? Angelo at least used to be an incurable goth. True or false? I told you I was going to make it.
Let's see who gets it.
Okay. Can I point out that the answer has to be no because he's no longer a goth, therefore he's been cured and therefore could never have been incurable? You see? But let's just say, that in those days.
Dreg got it.
Chris, you don't see the messages he sends me. That boy is still
okay. And by the way, Matthew, had it been my question, you would have won, but they didn't ask my question.
So Dreg is the winner because yes, I still listen to goth music on a daily basis, and yes. He just went to a Bauhaus concert and was raving about Peter Murphy. You're correct. I went last 2 years ago. Yeah. I haven't. Yeah. Anyways, so Dreg, I have your email address. I will pass that on to Chris, and Chris will get you the winning prize. Good job, Dreg. Yeah. Yeah. And just so you guys know, every live stream we're going to do something similar to this. We have the means, the method, and the madness to do it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens.
Explain to Blair that she missed the giveaway.
Say again?
Explain to Blair that she missed the giveaway.
Blair missed the giveaway. Yes. Yes. Did you hear the question, Blair?
You're welcome, John.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Here I am, she said. All right.
Yep.
You're welcome, Dreg. Thanks so much for getting that right. Sorry, but Matthew, you did miss it by probably a couple seconds.
Good night.
Anyways, back to our kind of our topic here. Stephen, you did say one that was, true to what you were talking about, which if you want to repeat it, go ahead.
Yeah.
I gave my 4. What about you guys? So what are some of the things that you could add on to it, subtract to it, you think that are, goth music. Here's Rome falling to drumstick beats and singing. All right. I like it.
Yeah, Chris.
Yeah, what do you guys?
What would you add, Chris? What's something
Well,
that you
the
think
other thing
every
I try to
DM
avoid
should
like
have?
the plague is predictability. The actual outcome, the actual reason things are happening should never be the reason you lead your characters to believe through levels 1 through 5, ever. Now, that doesn't mean they shouldn't gain certain victories from having found the red herring answer, but it will therefore leave them unprepared for levels 7 through 11, where they will have that same thrill of risk and discovery if you have made it so that it's not predictable. So, for instance, you ready for this? Okay, first Castle Wolf Moon leak. You ready? You figure, having come from the era of evil breeds evil, hence the Temple of Elemental Evil eventually coming into being, right? Mm-hmm. The creators of Castle Wolf Moon were actually neutral. They were pretty decent guys. They were lawful neutral. And they treated everybody with great respect and did, merchant things, and everybody liked them. Sunny guns, huh?
Yeah, that's funny.
But that again, but did they cause the problem? Oh, very much so. And I won't explain more than that. You'll have to actually wait until the Kickstarter and read the stuff. You'll know ahead of time, Stephen. If nothing else, I think you're going to contribute. And if I can't get you to do that, I'm going to at least have you at it. So,
hey, that sounds good to me.
So your kind of contribution to this topic, Chris, was predictability or unpredictability. I didn't understand.
You want to make sure that, and again, it's the same as the previous point, kind of. You always want to keep them coming back to the table to find out a little bit more, to always be curious.
Oh yeah,
not about,
I agree with that.
Geez, are we going to make our 10,000 experience points this time around? Because we all do that. So don't get me wrong. We'll do that without your help as a GM. But you want to make us come back to the table. I got a feeling this girl that escaped from the slave lords is a plant of some kind and might not be who we think she is. That sort of thing should always be in the back of every character's head, so that they never feel they've achieved this point at which they can be unheroic. Everything should mean you have to, screw your courage to the sticking point in order to get to the next one.
It's called, that's what makes people heroic. And to go with the point you're making, and Freezer, the point that he just dropped in the chat, the worst written module I've ever seen was a 5e1 called Descent into Avernus. And one of its greatest sins was right at the beginning. It tells you exactly who the villain is, exactly what's going on, and how you solve the problem.
It tells the plot.
Yeah.
It spoils the entire plot right up front.
To the players?
Yes, in read aloud text
terrible.
box.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you're right. That's terrible.
Oh,
I'm not familiar with that module.
Yeah, don't mess with it. I was looking forward to Mad Max in Hell, and that is not what I got. I got a series of unsatisfying fetch quests. Unpredictability. And like some players, especially like the 5e sensibility ones, they don't like being tricked. Like they can't stand being tricked. But that's a trope of like stories since we've been telling stories is betrayal. And if you're playing a hero, then someone's going to try to hoodwink you at some point. I mean, that's what you do. So you need some unpredictability. So
my favorite
in.
And I've told you this one, Angelo. I don't know if I've told you, Stephen, but was the False Prince, where the prince hires you because they're worried he's going to be assassinated before he's crowned. And his father has just died. And so they hire you as assassins. You meet him in this inn to sign the paperwork that you'll guard him for the next 2 weeks, with body and soul. And while he's there, sure enough, assassins show up. And they're geared to the nines. +3 black leather armor with the assassin's badge on it. And hand crossbows that are +2. And short swords +3. All this wonderful stuff. And so, of course, you defeat them. And when you do, the Grand Vizier stands up and says, "Oh, and we'll take care of the mess. You have dinner on us." And of course, the party members, because they're my playtest group, at least knows me too well. Oh no, you're not cheating us out of our stuff. Okay, we're gonna go clean this up ourselves. And they take all the wonderful goodies and they put on the +3 armor and the rings of pro and all these badges that say I'm a member of the Assassin's Guild. And then while they're with the prince that night guarding him, they discover that the dinner they were fed by the Grand Vizier was drugged. That's just in case there's elves in the party. And they awaken to a pounding at the door that says, "It's the royal guard. Let us in. We need to see the prince," who, of course, is missing at that point. And you're all sitting there wearing assassin's gear. And, do we even open the door, or do we just try and find a place to hide under the bed? That is, and I've run it 6 times. I've only had one party ever figure out ahead of time, before we go to bed, we're gonna take off all that assassin's gear.
Yeah.
And they didn't hide it though. They kept it in a pile so that they could access it immediately, right? And so when they came, it's like, wait, the sign of the assassins. These guys are assassins. Yeah.
I see Dreg agrees. Descent into Avernus is terrible, and that's
a
good story, Chris. But DMs, don't be letting your player characters sleep in their armor. Don't be letting them do it.
Well,
nobody else does it. It's uncomfortable. And
they were going to set watches. That's why they were in their armor, not realizing they'd been drugged.
Oh yeah, those guys went nighty night involuntarily. But in other games, like random encounter happens, wakes everybody up, they pop up a full AC. No, don't get to do it. And I see Blair is confirming I was right, and so was Dreg and Matt. Angelo is just, his soul is as black as the night sky.
He's going to have weekend. I mean,
Let's see. So number 2, I would add to things that DMs need to be doing is get good. Be good at gaming. It is a set of skills that you can learn, you can improve upon, and you can master. I've read from preface to the end and added my own thoughts to Gary Gygax's role-playing mastery book. Read that thing, or just listen to me read it to
I've got
you.
one here somewhere.
I bet you do. Like there's some shelf above Chris that has like every book that you're talking about at some point. He just reaches up, fiddles around for a minute, and pulls it down. It's like some magical shelf of holding. But
and he doesn't even have to flip the page open to read it. He just it's like a he touches the book, and then the book just kind of absorbs, downloads into his brain.
Exactly. Because
hey, that's my copy. Wait a minute.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So whatever game it is you're playing, actually read the book.
You got to know the rules
and study it. Like read it a few times. After a few years have passed since you read it last, read it again. Because a lot of folks they'll pick at like, oh, this game sucks. This game sucks. Was the last time you read it 40 years ago when you were 12? Was that why you had to come up with a whole new rule system now? No.
12, 40 years ago.
It's funny, and I'll read the DMG, and I've even taken it on vacation and sat in the beaches of whatever with it wide open and reading it, and you get something different every single time from it. And I think that is important. I will double click on the fact that you need to know the ins and outs. You don't need to be perfect, but you need to know. Bottom line,
you need to make an effort to be good at the thing you're doing, and study how other people run it. Play with as many different people as you can, and play as many different systems as you can, because like the folks that I've introduced On Guard to, it influences how they make design decisions moving forward. Ryan Howard's Nighthaven Codex 1 that I had the pleasure of editing. He was trying to integrate certain concepts into the setting, and I said, have you seen how this is handled in On Guard? He played a game with us. He read it. Then he went and found Flashing Blades, read that, and he was like, I know what to do. And when I saw the next iteration of the manuscript, I was like, oh, he nailed it. But he would have never had that idea had he not been exposed to it. So be exposed to ideas and play styles, and like some ideas you might not like, but know why you don't like it. And the ones that you do like, know why you like it. And this goes for players just as much. And play the classics. Go back, run B2, run Isle of Dread.
Yeah.
Those things are classics, not just because they were the first ones. B1 is a ripoff. You get half of a module that they actually. Oh, C1. Oh, yeah. All right, C1.
Black Razor.
C1, yeah.
Go to cons.
Yeah, and you're right.
Yeah,
you're right, man.
Oh, go on.
Go to cons and sign up for the false prints now that you know the answer. Oh, yeah.
I think the other thing too, and I did I'm sorry I keep referencing videos that I've done, but I talk about this too. Is you got to be, don't have to be, but I think it really helps to be in a player first. Play as many games as you can, play as many different types of systems as you can, play in as many different groups as you can, play in as many con games as you can. Learn, because it's funny. Every con I go to, I'll play under a DM. Chris, I've other people that I've, when I play with Frank or Tim, I've grabbed stuff from, but I get little tidbits of, wow, okay, he sucks as a DM, but man, he does this really good. Do you know what I mean? Not talking about you, Chris, don't get offended now, but I'm just saying, like, but you always can get something good if you focus on the positive experience in the thing. Even bad games, you can learn from them. You know what I mean? So
today
I always pull something from somebody.
Wow, I just got
what was that?
Plug by Dreg for my book about my novel about the Fourth Crusade. All right. I am currently going through and cleaning up that manuscript, and there's some things. There is going to be a separate edition of To Save a Life. There's the first version that came out, and that was probably the most self-indulgent thing I've ever written. But I'm going to pretty up and expand on it for a separate edition that's more aimed for a general audience. So, Greg, hit me up, and at some point when it's ready, I'll just send you a PDF of it.
Steven, I know you think it's self-indulgent, but you're worth it.
I know. Yeah.
I have Greg's email address if you want me to forward that over to you.
Yeah, hit me up.
Yeah.
And Freezer just brought up something that helps DM engagement is doing breakdowns post-session of thinking about doing an after-action review of, all right, how did that game go? Did it go how I wanted it to? Did it go in a way that was cool, even if it might not have been the one I had envisioned? And players do the same thing for the session that happened that you just finished. Don't just be like, okay, I'm on to the next thing, and I won't think about this again until next week or the next session.
Yeah.
Like I give XP to my players if they'll do like a 1 paragraph, 1 page, something, any item from their character's perspective. Like Angelo, when you're talking about making your players map, if they want to have any idea of where they are in a dungeon, it's not that you're trying to punish them, it's that you're trying to get them to buy into and put themselves into the world.
No, he's punishing.
Because how many times, like, I've got players today that, I'm running a vampire game, and they'll be like, oh yeah, what was the name of that vampire? You mean the guy that you've known for like 20 years and he's been in every session, you can't remember his name? Yeah, what's his name? I'm not telling you. I ain't doing it. I got it in my notes. We'll find it in your notes.
It does happen as you get older. Okay, your name was okay.
My name was at the beginning of your sentence.
It's really funny, Stephen, that you say that, because I've been doing that for years. I usually try to blog the contents of, and there's 2 reasons why I blog about the session, because A, it helps me remember what happened, and I have a written record of what happened. And B, it gives the players an opportunity to say, hey, you guys, blog your POV, what happened, or blog about the session. And then usually to reward that, I'll I have a formula for XP based on word count or something like that, or whatever. But that is another way to really get players engaged. You know what I mean? Campaign play. You know what I mean? Like, boom. I really like that. I like, and I have, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4 players on my 8-player group. Chris can't do it because he's writing, his Castle Wolf Moon stuff, so he doesn't get an opportunity to do it. But I have 4 other players that regularly contribute to the blog,
some of them are pretty good too.
And a lot of them are very good. And it's really interesting to see their take on what happened, so it really arms me as a DM to what's next. You know what I mean? It really is. So that's a great thing. I like that you brought that up. That's something that I've been doing for a while, but it doesn't mean that, I learned it from somewhere else too. I don't know who the hell it was, but yeah. So yeah, that can increase player engagement. So if you chronicle stuff, do that for your players, guys. I think that's a great thing.
I know you're very much on player engagement right now, but what if your players are already married?
Well, see, then you bring out a fishbowl and you ask everybody to bring out their keys.
Okay,
so,
yeah.
Wait, this isn't.
This is from the South now.
This isn't Angelo After Dark, is it? Oh crap, that's
that
should be Alan Hammock in this case because Chris wouldn't be invited for that. No.
I hadn't done a dad joke in like 15 minutes. Come on, Angelo.
Speaking of player engagement, in my first point, I said players, you owe the DM a good time too, but you also owe each other. Engage each other. Like one time, a friend was running a werewolf game. And I just looked at the player next to me and I said, hey, why don't we make our characters brother and sister? And gave us an instant connection, a background to role play our characters with. And there was friction because I went with one of a Christian persuasion. She was an unrepentant pagan. And it worked well. We wound up like writing each other's characters like letters. I still have one that she had given me. And it was cool, but she was a quality role player. I was trying to bring my best to the situation. And so that's a way we helped each other have a good time. And then of course the DM can just sit back and be happy that people are getting along and making story for him that he can play.
You can't be happy, Angelo. You have to keep punishing us. Oh no,
Freezer! I do have to say, the game was set in like 150 AD, so dryers had not been invented yet. Sister could not get stuck anywhere. You degenerate! Search that man's hard drive.
I was gonna tell on you a little bit because I don't know if a lot of people know this, but you do run a vampire game, which I think that kind of that whole system alone, or that genre, I guess, I don't know what you would call it, or that style of play really kind of makes the players level up and do a lot. It's a role playing game, and it's a true role playing game, I think. And there's a lot of engagement that's almost not forced. But I mean, how would you describe it? But I feel like
it's baked into it because it even describes the group, not as the role-playing group or the table, but as the troupe, as an acting troupe, and how it emphasizes role-playing over rules. And it tells players that, if the storyteller gives you this direction, run with it. And I frequently give role-playing notes and I tell them, okay, well, in the back of your mind, this is coming up, particularly if something is acting on them from the outside, making them think this way. Because like the blood bond, demons, possessions, other like dominate psychic powers, things like that.
The power struggle.
They can make people do things unwillingly, just like in D&D, hold person or dominate or charm person. And D&D players, I find, are very reluctant to role play those things appropriately because they just dig in like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Screw that.
Yeah.
Dude, you would be on my butt as a DM if the NPCs weren't obeying your commands. Now, chop, chop. It now shoes on your foot. So no, that's a good way of looking at it. It is very much an amateur acting exercise, particularly with the LARP perspective.
But I learned something very important from playing vampire.
Yeah, critical. Oh, someone's obfuscated. Yeah,
that's
well,
right.
I'm gonna.
Well, that one's with a little more punch. That's you can't nothing see me. Okay, yeah.
Oh, I didn't see the middle fingers out. So you have an obfuscate 4, is that right?
Yeah. You can find out about that and more in my first LARP from no, never mind.
Well, that's kind of how that's kind of how Vampire started too, wasn't it? It was started as a LARP, which is really heavily acting and and accepting, right? So yeah, it makes perfect sense that it kind of went into that and it was really baked in the rule books or the whole kind of idea of vampire, mummy, werewolf. Is
Greg, you're absolutely right. When it comes to published modules, the vampire stuff is generally terrible or high side of mediocre at best. But the key part about vampire books are the rule books and the setting and the clan book, stuff like that. So you can make your own great stories, but the published stuff's generally bad.
Did you guys ever see Nightlife when it came out?
I looked it up on your recommendation. Looks pretty neat.
Haven't, no.
It preceded Vampire. It was a vampire game, a little bit less in the LARP genre, but it did have storytelling, and it did remarkably well for about 5 years until the full-on we're gonna do live action role playing like it should be done. Vampire games started coming out, and oh my god, they took the market overnight.
Really?
Well, you get all those goth girls showing up. The sad boys ain't gonna stick around with their books. They're gonna go see the big chick in lace, and she's gonna have her pick of the litter. So Chris, what's your next? See, Angelo's like, oh, he's salivating right now. Thinking about some hefty girl with bosom pushed up here.
Oh I'm dying over here. I'm dying. Dying.
Just give him somebody flash him a corset right now. He's gonna pass out.
I think you're going to bed yet. You might want to watch your step, mister. It's okay.
So Chris, what's the next thing you would add to the brain trust
principles? How to anything. What comes to mind?
It's a toughie. You have to allow the characters to make a story that you then expand upon as though you had already baked it into your campaign. So, for instance, I mentioned the fighter who took the sword from Cataract, right? And so you give him a sentient sword, but you need to make that sentient sword seem like a portion of the overall plot, because then it leads to the next thing and the next thing, and all of these little plot lines that your characters give you as the GM. Your job is to entwine them into a single tapestry. You see, and they can be I might have done this once or twice before. They can be wildly different. A good GM can still wind them into the same tapestry. And then you wind up with teamwork, and everybody wants to pull together, and all of these goals wind up being shared. And it's everybody wins, and those are the best solutions. Or in the case of waking up with thieves' gear on and they're knocking on the door, everybody loses. But the same thing.
Man, I think that kind of goes along with the whole make choices that are meaningful for your players. I mean, adding a sentient sword, making it fit into the story, that's meaningful. You know what I mean? So, hi.
You still get
say hello to 3 million viewers right now.
Oh. And she just said in my ear, all you still get is my boobs. I'm okay with that.
Good night. Good night.
Not kissing action. Do you need to put an adults only warning on this?
Woo. MA14.
This is supposed to be PG. Jeez, no cussing, no
I was being a PIG. Oh,
I have one question for you, Chris, because you gamed out of us three. You gamed with Gary. You gamed with the creator and the maker, co-maker of the game and all that. So, what are some things that you kind of got from him as far as pointers, tips? And I know you did because we've talked about some stuff. But tell me a little bit of that insight.
Well, once you'd committed to a course of action, and I don't mean, oh, I'm going to swing my mace this round. I mean, we're going to take this wraith down, or we're going to die trying, because we've got to save that guy. And by the way, that crown looks really valuable. Once you've committed to a course of action, he did not let you stray from it. If you did, round 3 and half the party's dead, I'm thinking that that in my ancestry there's a chicken in my ancestry, and I'm about to learn a very valuable lesson from it. Run like hell. If you did stuff like that with Gary, you better have a really good exit strategy, because otherwise you're going to get glooped on the way out.
Yeah.
Well, and that's very realistic, but that's why he did it that way. He had a constant ability to pull you back in and immerse you by links to reality, by giving you mental images that were common to anybody that would be playing, which was kind of cool when you think about it.
Yeah, because the more of what you're seeing, experiencing, that your mind already knows is real and will accept, it makes it easier to accept the more fantastical things. And so, immersion. There you go. Relatability. Yeah. Relatability is key, because if everything is rainbows and like sparkles and unreality.
Well, and he would take that from the level of the world at large all the way down to the level of the particular encounter in which you find yourself for the next 10 combat rounds, or rounds that may just occur, whether they be for combat or not. And I'm trying to think of some good examples of encounter level links to reality that he would do. But for instance, he would say, before you stands an obelisk. It does appear to have some strange writings on it of a pictographic nature. And of course, we'd all immediately picture something from Egypt, and it's got the hieroglyphs all over it. And then he would explain to you why they weren't actually the hieroglyphs you're thinking of, but instead differed in the following manner. And he'd give you a second example that perhaps came from something from Tolkien or one of those movies, so that you would immediately mentally be able to rejuxtapose that picture in your head without having to wonder what you ought to do because you're not getting a perfect mental image yet. I guess that's He was a very, very good image maker, if you will.
But but leaving it to the imagination, describing, but not visually describing it.
Correct.
Verbally
not
describing.
16, not 6 paragraphs, and I'm even guilty of that on occasion. Okay, not 6 paragraphs, but a single link to reality that would paint 90% of the picture for you. Yeah,
got it.
Awesome.
Yeah,
but and absolutely a stickler for. Sorry, but your armor class is only 2, and a 19 was rolled. It's there's going to be some draining involved here, and it's not going to be good. And he would just tell you and then let you deal with the consequences. That was the other thing, is he didn't like killing characters. He liked making you wish you were dead. Yeah. Okay. Well, your strength is now down to 4 and you're first level, but you're still alive. What would you like to do this turn? Can I hide behind the paladin? Of course you can.
And to follow that, I would say to the players out there is, if bad things happen to your character, don't quit. Don't take your toys and go home because you can't reload a save. Dig in, dig him out.
Life, there's hope. Yeah.
And grind, baby, because stories are only interesting if there's challenge and if there's a risk of failure.
Yeah.
And if you get knocked down and then get back up, oh wait, isn't that the premise of like every great story ever told? So yeah, be the hero. Because I had a guy who was messing around with a deck of many things he shouldn't have been, and he was warned not to. And the guy who went before him, who also shouldn't have been, he was warned not to, got the best cards you could get. And then the guy decided to go anyway. The best cards are already gone, man. So when your third level character loses 10,000 XP, you chose to do it. Okay, well, I want to make a new character. Not if you're sticking around my campaign. All right, I quit.
That ain't happening. Yeah.
No, if he had gotten a good card, he wouldn't have quit.
Right.
So makes your
bets.
bets.
Like taking my ball and going home. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Well, but again, you find a solution for him that makes everybody a winner. It's the best solution. So no, you're still losing your 10,000 because I'm not bending the rules for you, my friend. Mm-hmm. However, have you given thought to the fact that your friends who are doing so well might be able to go on a quest on your behalf that could restore at least some portion of your previous skills?
See, and I had introduced like side quests he could do that they were truncated. It was just a couple rolls, but he had to face an actual risk. So if the rolls went against him, he could die. But if he succeeded, he would rack up XP to do it.
If you're ready to quit the game, what do you got to lose? You know, exactly.
But it's not fun right now. I've got to have fun. I can't ever be sad or bored because the idea of making baby Einsteins in the 90s, in fact, just gave everybody no attention span.
That's not old school at all.
No.
And finding a way to restore our paladin was an awesome side story, I thought. It brought the whole party together.
It did. It really did. Yeah. He's talking about a game that we had the paladin that lost 2 levels from a wraith, and they summoned Cuthbert, and Cuthbert ended up giving them a side quest to do. Which it's funny. I'm going to actually run that at AidCon because I it turned out so well. But it turned out to be a great adventure. Yeah, I will disagree with you though. I don't think that I will say, Chris, that I feel that D&D is consequence driven, right? So you're saying, but I do agree with the fact that give them an out, somehow or something like that. But I'm the type of DM. I think that I try to reward courage. I try to reward ingenuity. I try to reward running away if that's the right thing to do, or But if somebody's going to commit, even if they have 1 hit point. That's what I'm talking about.
Well, and you don't make it simple.
We're not stupidity.
There was glitches involved in Steven's example, but you have to have some solution beyond just, you get to be first level with these 8th level guys, and go find another game to play.
Yeah.
And the thing is, all that does is it tells your players that you're having a good time with them and you'd like to continue to do so, but you have to accept the consequences when you don't win, and you're not always going to win.
Yeah.
Well, unless you're.
Yeah, that's a great example about the deck of many things. Like you're pushing your luck, and what do you expect? What do you expect? You already grabbed the 2 best cards in the deck. Now you're just playing with fire because that death card's going to come up, or this is going to come up, or that.
Or you're going to wind up in the abyss, or No,
or it's like being in Vegas
and sell it.
Yeah. It's like being in Vegas. So I just went last week. I was there and I walked in with a certain amount and I put it in and won, crapped out 1 time. I could have stayed there and pressed my luck, but I'm like, you know what? I'm out. It's kind of like how D&D is. If you're going to get it and get it out. You know what I mean? So anyways.
You got that right.
True philosophy, truest words ever. Remember that.
You got to know when to hold them and when to fold them.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't draw that other card.
I do want to bring up the fact that when it comes to character death in an established group where you got folks that are say like 5th level, 8th level, whatever, somebody dies, and they need to make a new character. Well, a lot of folks will take mercy or in some sense of mercy, give the new player character same level as the other folks. I find that very distasteful because it wasn't earned. They'll give them like half of the levels. Okay, that's better. But in defense of starting them at first level, that is a brave person to go with all those experienced adventurers. But if they survive a couple encounters, they're gonna rocket straight up. They're gonna get that XP. They just have to want it. And if you don't want it, why are you facing down a basilisk? Why are you doing it?
Yeah.
If you don't want it. People
Chris
catering to reckless players. Let the stupid idea reap the stupid consequences. Yeah. Good one, Freezer.
Yeah, that's a good one. Good one, Freezer. I was going to ask Chris. So, what is my method when somebody? What happens when somebody dies in my campaign?
You make them roll up a new character.
And what level do they start at?
Yeah.
Exactly.
This is why I keep saying that everybody should listen to Angelo's advice because it's good. And level one.
I'm a firm believer. I'm a firm believer in earning. Like if you don't earn something, then you're not going to be invested. You're not going to be. Why should everybody else be 6th, 7th, 8th level? They played for 2 years to get there, and then here's this player that died one session, comes back as 7th level. You know what I mean?
I told you I don't even want NPCs in my campaigns. I want you attached to your character.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And there's
send your NPC forward to find out what that door is going to do to him.
And there's certain games and circumstances where, go ahead and just put somebody's cousin in, and they've come to avenge them, and they're the same level. There's exceptions, right? But exceptions exist because rules are there.
That's not a serious game, though, Steve. I know you play a serious game.
I have never done that. Sounds like Inner City to me.
Well, but see, getting that idea came from my exposure to Inner City.
Yeah.
And so thinking about really giving another facet of how do you deal with character death and replacement characters, I was exposed to Chris Clark's idea, and now antibiotics won't get rid of the results. It's terrible. I have to use a special shampoo. But
the side quest he gave us, by the way, ended in a very Inner City manner. We burned the place to the ground. Yeah.
Did you get XP?
Burned the place to the ground. They burned the place to the ground, and there was a character death, and I think one of the characters got very, very broken up. Well, I know he did. The ranger was, because I hear from all the players all during the week, especially one of the characters, players all week. He felt so bad that he wasn't able to free one of the slaves that was locked up before the place burned down. You know what I mean? That is good gameplay right there. I hate to toot my horn, but I did a video on this that where you leave that session off, if those players are talking about it up until the next session all week long,
you did a good job.
Got it. Got it. Yeah.
The next couple I've got are pretty short.
Please, talk more, please.
DMs know when to quit. Not just in the sense of when to cut the session off, but when is the game really over? When are you tired of it? Is the game you're trying to run and the interests and aptitudes of the players not mashing at all?
Yeah.
And it's just torture for you, kind of like what you were talking about earlier, where it's like you feel like this pressure to like keep saving all these people from themselves. There's been at least 2 games in the past 6 years where the players just couldn't get right, wouldn't think further ahead than they wouldn't think ahead at all. They wouldn't cooperate at all. And every challenge they met could have been dealt with if they even half cooperated, but they didn't. And I realized I'm saving them from TPKing themselves again and again. And no, it's not worth it. No. So like the first game that happened in, I was running out of the abyss for 5e, and the players, they TPK'd 2 different groups of player characters one session after another, and I was like, okay, this is not for y'all. And then I was running a
Yeah.
second edition AD&D about 3 years ago, and DMs, you don't all the bad guys don't always have to kill all the players. They can take them prisoner, they can
Yeah.
ransom them, they can smack talk them, they can slap them around and tell them, go screw a donkey.
Strength, yeah.
They can do all that kind of stuff. But
Wow.
after about the third time of letting them go, I was like, nah, that y'all, no, I'm not doing this. This ain't the game
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
And feel free to toss in on that before I get that last one in. And the last one might get me hate mail and might get me banned from your
Yeah, that's good. We like hate mail. I think that's a really good key. I mean, there's anything in life, you got to know when it's over,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to act on it. Like stretching things out. I mean, you can talk about. I mean, I don't want to get super deep here, but relationships. It's okay to say, okay, this is where we end. Or this is a job or. But that also goes for D&D. That also goes for a campaign. That also goes for, just life in general. That's a really great. That's a really good insight, Stephen. I like that because forcing something never works at all. Just in life in general, and it goes for our favorite game.
When I was the first GM, and I was not very good at it. I
None of us
did
were.
one where I decided that night that 3 of the 5 party members that had all died, right, had actually dreamt about dying and had explained it so vividly to the other 2 that they felt like they were there. And we started that day over.
Mm-hmm.
And they played better the next time through, as did I. So it worked out well. But
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
You
creative.
can't really do that too often. It becomes it violates that whole predictability thing. Yeah.
Well, and if someone's new, like it sounds like y'all were all new at that point.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I was 15.
Some guardrails can be okay to get people into the game.
I was
and then you murder their character.
High school.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're talking about hate mail, you're talking about getting mail from that one spot in San Francisco. No, okay.
No, I might get it from y'all, or at least other folks that go to cons.
Let's hear it.
Play the games you buy. Read the books you buy. Finish your campaigns. And if there's some module you've always wanted to run it for someone. There's rules out there for running it for yourself. Play it. Don't leave it on. Don't leave games on the table.
I like
that's a good.
I like campaigns that have an end. Okay. Now it's funny. I glommed on a Metamorphosis Alpha early on, but never really did much with Gamma World. And for the longest time, I couldn't figure out why. Excuse me. One attracted me so much more than the other. And the answer is that the Metamorphosis Alpha world is contained. A Metamorphosis Alpha campaign almost invariably has an end that you strive for.
Yeah.
Either you take back control of the ship, or you get off the ship and land on a planet somewhere and live happily ever after.
Yeah.
But there are no in-betweens there because the ship is slowly disintegrating. And there's only so much to explore. That's it. Now, it's huge, don't get me wrong, but it's not world-spanningly huge. It's just really big.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for those Metamorphosis Alpha, good game for those who haven't played. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good.
Up here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Oh.
Yeah, of course he's got it right up there. Yeah, the magic.
Yeah, he's got it within the arm distance.
And I see Freezer's over there already denouncing me. Yep, yeah, got it.
Yeah.
How dare you read the stuff on my shelf?
Yeah, it's funny, Stephen. I do like what you said there because, and I'm just going to kind of take it a different route. I kind of already talked about it, but I think if you have the opportunity to go to camp, to go to cons, don't play the same thing that you play all the time
Like one new thing, yeah,
with your friends or whatever. Play something different. Like, play something like I don't get to play Star Frontiers a lot. I used to, when I go to Gary, I'd always try to get into something like that, or just something different.
Yeah.
Because I think that and this is really for me. My mind is so narrow that I'm always seeing, oh, it's got to be this way, or it's got to be like the scene in, the Lord of the Rings cartoon back in the day. You know what I mean? But if you sit at somebody else's table and get with, experience their story, that brings you, that's equivalent to reading a book or it's just expands your horizons. And I think that's the key. And that's why, cons, if you can go to cons, not everybody can, I can't go to everyone, but play something that's out of your wheelhouse.
Mm-hmm. And for the games that your local group just won't play and you can't find folks online, which good luck not finding someone online to play your game. Your little dream game, make a con session for it so you still get to check the block and say, okay, I got to do the thing I wanted to do. And Freezer, I'm digging what you're saying over here. Oh, and by the way, Freezer's the guy who wrote a pretty excellent RPG adaptation of the Legacy of Kain video game series that I'm in right now. Every other Monday we play it, and I've survived somehow for I think 3 sessions, and it's some good time. So if you like dark fantasy vampire anti-heroes, it's a game for you. It's good stuff. He does a good job too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's a good DM.
Yeah.
Okay, one last thing, because I saw this putting the other book away. Today's finds from the archives of strange crap that Chris finds in his office. Right? Oh, I don't know. Can we see that? Oh,
I do.
Just Another Monster Game.
Yeah.
From 1986. Okay. Which, by the way, got replaced with the Amityville Horror. That's the precursor to the Amityville Horror. So,
interesting.
Hey, Chris.
There's weird.
Chris, that's my copy, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's my copy, isn't it?
Yeah. I have about 17 of these down in the basement too yet. So we only printed 600. So that's back in the days when you sold 500. You were doing great. So
Yeah.
And that was a $5 game, buddy. Whoa.
Yeah.
Man, adjusted for inflation, that's like $1,000. Wow.
So here's a question from Drag. He says, let me bring it up. Question for Gary Gygax. Okay, I don't know if he can answer it, but we'll try to answer it. Which deity did you intend the Archcleric Hazen of Balloon to worship? In T1 of Hommlet, you mentioned he sponsors the construction of St. Cuthbert's Chapel therein. I would say St. Cuthbert, but yeah. I think Falloon had a heavy influence on Cuthbert. I'd have to double check, but that would be my answer. What about you guys?
I think we need to subpoena Gary.
Yeah. Answer to Paul. Oh, here we go. Answer to Paul Stormberg. Okay, here's the second part. And there you have it. Plain as day, and literally assumed he is the cudgel and indeed the one who. Yeah. So it was St. Cuthbert, the cudgel.
Okay.
Yeah. See how great. See how odd. Man, I didn't even read that. And
well,
direct conduit to Gary Gygax. Yeah.
I don't know if you can see the signs out there, but evidently, drag rules. So yeah.
Drag rules.
Oh, I got one alibi fire for the DM advice before we wrap up or do anything like that. Is that so? The advice for the DMs was to improve your skills, become better at playing, but also with being in the DM chair, it's incumbent on you to help your players also develop their skills. Give them new things to do, make them map. When I've got, because my players inevitably run off in different directions, I would prefer to keep everybody in the same scene so everybody can be involved in the same scene. But when they run off in different directions, and it makes sense in the story, they would do it. the person who's not in the scene I'm actively managing, if there's an NPC or something around, I give him basic direction and let him play the NPC or one of the NPCs. Maybe not the key one, but like a side character. Or I have them do the rolling for me, and it seems to help keep them in the game.
Yeah, that's true.
And give them role playing directions. Give them tips for what they could do, what they're doing well, and how they could do better. And ask them if they want to do things for you, or maybe like run a session of a campaign for you.
Yeah.
Like come up with a one shot adventure to work in.
Yeah.
Get try to get the yoke on that draft horse. Get it to pull, because the more skills we all develop, the better we're all going to be. Sorry,
I've had brand new role players sitting on my tables. Like I want to say, Origins in the '90s, it was common because Origins was not particularly a role playing convention; it was more tabletop and minis. And they would sit in on a session just because it looked fun. And I've never done this role playing thing before, so I'd say, "So here's the situation. What does your character want to do? What are my options?"
Yeah.
Picture an 8 that curls in upon itself, almost as though twisted in the middle. Oh, you mean I have infinite options? You really do. That's the wonder of role playing. You can tell me, for instance, that you're going to try and look as though you were actually, that you have mining skills while your character picks his nose. But that's probably not going to get you anywhere. So what you want to try and do is figure out a solution that you as a character, given a certain skill set, would pursue when faced with this scenario. And they're amazed at their first, oh my God, nobody's ever explained role playing to me. That's incredible. And there's rules for this? Yes, there are.
Yep.
How do you write rules for infinite possibilities? Well, I didn't say it was easy. Okay. Those of us who do that sort of thing, we're very skilled, But then they always had a great time. So I don't lead them, I guess. It almost sounds like you occasionally do. And actually, I think in Storyteller, and frankly, even in like a Pathfinder adventure, you kind of have to. Because otherwise, you're going to get somebody that is trying to show off their mining skills by picking their nose. And it doesn't add anything. It doesn't add anything to the adventure or to their enjoyment of the adventure or anyone's. So you kind of have to. But in standard role playing, I don't know that you necessarily need to when it's not a storyteller scenario, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's just me. I'm just a farm boy,
Yeah.
Some poor thing.
You are a farm boy.
The international star of the Wisconsin workout.
That's right.
Now. You're a bodybuilder.
Yeah. Moving cars, mind. Yeah.
I'm in shape. Round is a shape. Yeah. Okay.
And like you've even like made some books, and I know at least one person who's bought some of them.
I do too. Well, because But
I have receipts.
There's no accounting for taste.
Hey, that's a good time. That's a really good time to bring this up. So you guys, just so you know, the backer kit for Castle Wolfman Kickstarter is live now. It's going live in April 5th. But this QR code will bring you to the backer kit where you could sign up to get a notification when it goes live and be one of the first people to be involved in this Kickstarter. So anyways, scan this QR code, you guys. And man, we're going to be doing this every week. We're going to be talking about Castle Wolfmoon. We're going to be talking about the Kickstarter coming up. And let's definitely.
Well, and I will say this about that as well. It is a campaign, not a single product. And in fact, there are 7 books is the minimum we will be doing under this Kickstarter. Holy cow! So that's why
we're looking forward.
Chris is always complaining because he can write his Castle Wolfman stuff. I had 7 books. Give me a break. Yeah.
I have it on very shaky authority that if you back all 7 of the Castle Wolfmoon modules on the first day, Chris will send you a personally autographed boudoir photo of himself.
Wow.
Okay,
let me figure back up so we can make sure everybody scans it here. Yes. Yeah.
Oh wait, did that just tank the sales or drive them through the roof? I don't know which one I did.
I'm not sure actually if they're going to offer any of the campaign individually. So I think if you're in for one, you're in for 7 is the minimum.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But on the bright side, I don't think they're going to make the PDFs of them that expensive. I think it's going to, 15 or 20 bucks for all 7 PDFs. So.
Oh, good deal.
And I make my PDFs searchable.
I'm sure as the Kickstarter kind of comes to fruition, we're going to be talking about the backer levels and all that stuff, and definitely we'll showcase. We'll show up covers and pieces and stuff and all that kind of neat.
You'll see visit that I am being backed by a corporate outfit called Pulse Productions.
Yep.
And they will actually determine what the levels are and where the levels are and all that good stuff. They said, just get back to your machine and crank this stuff out. Well, yeah, come on. Holy cow. But a little more in depth. That we have a total of 11 contributors so far, and I believe we will have 36 before we're done. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Including Mr. Ernie Gygax himself. So, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for contributing some lit Ernie stuff. And Stephen was a big help with that too. So yeah,
it's some quality stuff. Yeah, man. It's watching a guy that was one of the first to DM, and after all those decades and all his health problems and all the stuff he'd been involved in, he was still churning out gold. Watching him work was an honor. So thanks for roping me in on that, Chris.
Well, I thought he'd send in an encounter. No, he sent in a whole side adventure.
3 of them.
Well, it's a 3-part that I've kind of rolled into one. But
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, one leads to the next.
Yeah, they do connect in a way. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Freezer's got a question. How big are each of these Wolf Moon installments? Are they like the Igpay series, or are they the Challenge of Arms
more
size?
The original Challenge of Arms, the original one was 82 pages. The remanufactured one with better art is going to be probably 96.
Oh, wow.
Ritual's 112. Yeah. Exordium, Cataract is actually the smallest of them. Cataract, I think, is 40. Exordium, which is the first 2 levels of the castle, is 138 so far. Nice. It's not done yet. I don't have all my art in yet, so it's going to be more than that. The smallest of the levels, believe it or not, is the final book, which is Castle Wolf in the Depths, and it's probably only going to be about 112 again, because it's just levels 4 and it's a tiny little 4 and 5 levels where they have the Power Stone mines and the portal to Metamorphosis Alpha. Because I was good friends with Jim, and so we actually have some Warden stuff in there too. But not done Metamorphosis Alpha, done for D&D, just like the old Dragon Magazine articles.
And so, are you going to have all those great handouts? Because I got a physical copy of Challenge of Arms, and
we're going to have all those great handouts if we can too. Yeah,
of handouts was ridiculous.
Well, and I love the fact that your picture that you show the players is not the same as the one in the book. The one in the book shows you where all the traps are. The one that you give to the players doesn't show any traps. Yeah.
But if
I disbelieve,
good luck with that.
But if they're paying attention and ask questions, then they have a good chance of finding the stuff before it's too late. Yeah. So cool. Good to know.
Should be a good time. I have to get that approved, obviously, because like I said, I have a corporate backer. And if I say, well, each of these modules is going to have all these handouts with it, they may kibosh that, but I'm a pretty persuasive guy.
What about the 6-foot map?
Yeah.
Are they going to come with a 6-foot
I'd
map?
like to have those as a stretch goal. Now, imagine not just a 6-foot map, but several, because that's only one level.
Yeah, I know. I only saw the one, and it was enormous.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to play on those. So I would like to have one for each and every level. I don't know if we'll get one for the extra planar adventures, of which there are currently 10. Yeah.
He said 10.
Yeah.
That's
10.
2.
Well, there were 8, and then Ernie
digits.
added one. And then, and somebody else added one, but I won't go into detail on that yet. We'll save that for April.
Hey, Freezer's got a question here. He says not to detract, but how do you manage the players who try to make the most optimal build in their games, like refuse to play until they map out their character's progression before the game started? That's an interesting one.
I'm sorry, is that not a
Yeah, I
term you
call
guys are
Munchkin
familiar with, the Munchkin player? You know,
Mhm.
yeah.
No, I'm very familiar with it.
Well,
Yeah.
Who min maxes everything on a given racial type or something like, yeah. You know, you still have to role play it. And I'm sorry if you've decided that you want to be the illusionist because some of their spells are way OP. You have to act like an illusionist. You have to constantly be prevaricating about the reality that surrounds you. In other words, because it's built into your character, you're never going to be 100% honest, even if you decide to try and be a lawful good illusionist, because it's not part of who you are. It's not you're constantly on, as it were, if you're an illusionist. And so, you know, well, I thought this beef was just fantastic, when in fact, yeah, it was pretty good, you know, whatever.
And some games are designed for you to optimize your character and punish you if
Yeah,
you don't.
Munchkin.
Well, like 5e is the same way. Like if you
Well,
play
yeah, that's true enough.
an intelligence poor wizard, it actively punishes you. Whereas in like first edition or second edition, you could have a wizard with a 9
Yep.
intelligence and he'd be perfectly viable.
Yeah.
But in fifth
Yep.
edition, you're just gonna suck, and there's
Yeah.
no way around of it.
Yeah.
So that's a problem with the game. So it depends in part on what system you're using. But one thing that you can mandate as a DM, if you so choose, is to randomize something about it. Like make them roll the. You can tell them 3d6 in order. Optimize that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there were old school games
Yeah.
that were built around optimizing character creation, like Champions. And don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
half the fun of Champions was designing the character, because you were trying to be smarter than the other guy designing a character.
Yep.
But that it's not. Is that role playing? I don't know. I find that more to be like tactical combat with your friends. I don't know.
And the current vampire game that I got is that I had them make their human characters, and then I had them roll to see what clan was going to induct them. Oh, we got Joe Block. Everybody, quick! Everybody, hide your stuff. Joe Block's. He must have known. We said Greyhawk too many times. But yeah, I made them roll and to see which clan snatched them. So they might have been built for like one type of character, and then the clan that got them might have conflicted with that. But you know, there's different ways you can play it, but so you have to use a little bit of creativity. And yeah, randomize stuff. Now, I'm not strictly against players trying to like munchkin their builds, because if it's okay with the setting,
yeah,
as long as you play that character,
yes,
and you do it. There's only been a few times when there's rule exploits that even Wizards of the Coast retconned out of the game that it became untenable to challenge them because the base 5e, if you got like sharpshooter and you had a couple other kickers on top of it, nothing's going to stand up against that character.
Wait here, I'll be back.
Yeah, pretty much, especially if he could fly, and then it's freaking over. So yeah, that's what I'd say, Freezer. And yeah.
Yeah, I think some of those. I mean, I think it's super hard in old school. I think you can munchkin stuff a little differently in old school, but you're right. I think around second edition it really started with the kits and stuff like that. And the 3 it was super munchkin-y. 3.5, you know, and beyond, you know, and beyond.
Yeah,
it's very, very optimized to do certain things and kind of power play, but it's kind of hard in old school. I think it's tough. Now I get, and I don't 100% frown upon it, but when you get that player that wants to be a fighter, magic user, thief, you know what I mean? You know, I get that. I don't know if that's a form of munchkining, but you know, I roll with it. You know, a person with you know, if you're really playing old school and a person with 3 hit points, fighter with 3 hit points still has a survive, you know, still can be a hero with the fighter that has 10 hit points if they play smart and they play together and they play, you know what I mean? I think that's really, it's I don't know. It's a tough thing. It's a tough thing. It's a tough thing to DM, So Greg's question is really, I don't have an answer to that. It's a tough thing to
something else I'd like to
deal with.
Mention, because you could make use of it. Gary's last role play system, the Legendary Adventure, he's got a chart of knacks and quirks. And you don't have to have a knack and a quirk. Yeah. But if you choose a knack, then you get a quirk.
Yeah.
And you get one for one. You can have as many knacks and as many quirks as you want. And it's really interesting stuff. Like your knack can be, if you're casting a divination type, they don't call them spells, they call them activations, but you cast it at double speed because you're a diviner, okay? And then quirks are things like you have unbelievably foul gas anytime you eat cheese, and no one will want to be within 10 feet of you. Or you are sexually attracted to trolls. There's some really good ones in there.
Gary.
But the idea is, again, you make the person role play them. Wendy, Wendy rolled the attracted to trolls one. She had a knack for going after trolls. Ooh.
But that's entertaining, and that adds to the story.
And she loved cheese. She had 2 knacks and 2 quirks. And believe it or not, I love cheese. I can't live without it. Was a quirk. Wow. So she would grab her 2 pounds of Gouda.
It's a Wisconsin thing, right?
And not in the way that the rest of us went troll hunting.
I got this troll. I'll take care of it. Don't worry. No, leave me alone, guys.
No, I don't need help. Really, I got this.
In the vampire game, that character creation, vampire does have merits and flaws. I said you can have up to 7 points of merit, but for every point of merit, you have to take a point of flaw. And one player decided he didn't want to mess with it. A couple of the other ones grabbed a couple of them, and and then of course once the game starts, you can just freely give people flaws because they have mental breakdowns and they get damaged or they lose a limb or this and they can't get it back. Like one of them last session racked up depression as a mental derangement because of they just got screwed over. Don't lip off to a 1,200-year-old Malkavian. Don't do it. Especially when he's got Bali friends. It's a bad plan. Now
wait a minute. Do his Bali friends have buttons?
God.
Because then they would, of course, be Bali buttons. I'll just be over here.
It's time to check Chris into a home. I haven't been one to talk to you about this, Angelo, but I fear that he has declined too far, and I need you to take the power of attorney. I think that's one bad joke too far. He's gone over the edge. I know he has a wonderful wife to take care of him, but I fear for her. She has to hear that all the time. Think of her suffering.
Constant, never ending. And there's no story with it. It's not a never-ending story. It's just never-ending.
Well, this might be. This is. We're coming to the 2-hour mark, and I think this is really good, guys. I think I really hope that people that watch or are going to watch or etc. The whole topic tonight was the video I did, last Friday, which was kind of the DM principles or DM Angelo's DM goals, and I really love Stephen and Chris, you guys added to that or subtracted. But I think that was it was really insightful for me. It was to hear your guys' views on that. But for me, and I ended up the video this way too. I said, our job as DMs or game masters or keepers or I forgot what they call them in Vampire. Storyteller. That's what it was. Yeah, I couldn't remember. But I think if you sum it up for me, and this is just me, and I want to ask you guys also this, but for me, if you want to sum it up all into one sentence, and I said this during the video, our job as a DM or game master or whatever is to create a living world, present it honestly, and let the players deal with it. That's it.
Yeah.
Don't let them create.
What do you think? What is your one? Yeah. What is your one sentence? Let's start out with you, Stephen.
Okay. You're a game master. Run the game. Run it well. That's it. That's it. But because the game can be whatever the game's going to be, but so long as you know, as long as you're there with the mindset of, I've got a game. This isn't my short story. This isn't my frustrated novel. This isn't my play that hasn't been produced yet. My screenplay that hasn't been optioned. This is, we've got some conflict resolution mechanics, whatever they are. We've got a setting of some variety. We've got non-player characters, monsters, treasures, all this. Run the game. It's a game, just like a board game, just like a card game. Look at it like that. Simplifies things a lot. Takes a lot of the pressure out, because the rules, just follow them. The game will take care of itself.
And you know, to double click on that too, practice makes perfect. Or practice makes better. I don't know if you're ever going to be perfect. Right. Practice, guys.
Yep. Good one.
I think that's really the key. Nobody's born. I mean, there might be somebody that we know that was born the greatest DM in the world, but I think that it's a constant. Yeah, Chris is the best. But I think it's a constant. You know, like I'm learning every day, and I, you know, like you guys, we've been at this forever, and I think it's you know, open-mindedness too. So anyways, Chris, what do you think? What's your one sentence?
You know, you don't have to create a world. You can buy one of mine, but but you know what? You have to you have to know it.
His camera quit.
And you have to be ready to write a new story every day. You do. Especially with people you game with.
Yeah.
Because they may decide that they didn't like the way things were going in the world at large, and so they're going to change everything today. Be ready for them to, and present them with those challenges that they will again find challenging.
Good call.
Well, you say this a lot. You say like writing, right? Writing is, you say it's not a skill, right?
Well, it's craft. It's not talent.
It's craft, yeah. And so, how do you get better at that?
You do it. Yeah.
Yep.
It's learned behavior
by doing it.
Yep. Like Stephen King's famous advice on writing is apply but to see.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. What's up, Ignatius?
Yeah. And stop making excuses.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ignatius is here too.
All right.
You caught us at the tail end, buddy.
That was pretty good.
How you doing,
Ignatius? You know, as far as the pronouncement.
Yeah. Thanks for the insight, Ignatius. Appreciate it.
Just as a stinger, earlier on, Greg had asked what were our favorite live streams besides this one. Let's just give him a little guidance on the way out. I don't watch a lot of live streams, and not a lot of them, but the ones that I will make an effort for are when Ryan Howard does a new RGH Press one. And his back catalog is good and filled with lots of good philosophy on games, as well as interviews with really interesting people like Casey Christopherson.
Yeah.
Love that dude. And Joe recently did, I think it was live, wasn't it, Joe? Interview with Tracy Hickman.
Yeah.
And that was a
great really good one too.
And so good. So Joe Block will occasionally do one. Ryan Howard about once a month he does one. And then I do watch Angelo, so no, not just when I'm on it.
Hey,
I do, and check the comments. I'm in them.
Yeah, you're in them. Yeah, and we're just starting out here. I know it's going to get better and better and better as we go. I think it's just the passion of the game, and I love sitting here with you too. You, who I consider friends.
And almost no ums.
And just talking about gaming.
Almost no ums.
What's that?
Almost no ums at all. So I think you're finally getting comfortable. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good job.
No ums. Yeah. No ums. Yeah, that's pretty good. No ums. Oh. I do want to give a shout out who we're going to have on. So I'm kind of switching. Here's a plug, shameless plug for the DM and Friends guys. We are shifting to, we're going to be live streaming Monday and Thursday. Basically, Mondays are going to have a special guest on here. Sorry, Steven, you're not special. Okay. You're not our special guest tonight.
I'm gaming with Freezer on Mondays.
You're a regular.
That's true.
Yeah. You're a regular now. But we're going to have a special guest every Monday. And then Thursday, I'm going to try to do a topic discussion like we did tonight, which I thought really went well. But next week we have the guy from Thunderstruck Workshop, and he's going to bring a bunch of his, printed stuff and showcase. I love that kind of stuff. So he's going to come next week. Following week is Ann Meyer. I got Ann Meyer on here who did the Greyhawk maps, and we're going to talk about world building. And man, I love her stuff. We're going to talk a lot of Greyhawk, and I want to just pick her brain because I love what she does. And then the following week, I got Pat Kilbane on here, who's a friend of mine that I've gamed with in the past, in campaigns and gaming stores, before he even did the documentary. So we're going to have him on here. He's going to talk about RPGhistory.net and his, the documentary, God, I just went blank in Gary's basement, right? The documentary he did a while back. So that's going to be a lot of fun talking to him. I haven't seen him since GaryCon, even though we keep in touch, but a good dude. And we got some other people coming on too, but next Thursday, I don't know what we're going to talk about. Maybe us three will be back and we'll figure it out. But
for the Ann Meyer interview, are you going to invite Joe in, or is Joe already picked her brain and Joe Block, he's already like passe about her and now you just get a fanboy out?
I don't know. I could ask Joe if he wants to join. That'd be awesome. I mean, totally great idea.
I mean, if you're going to geek out about Greyhawk, I know that guy is mildly interested in
how extensive is my knowledge of Greyhawk, as you discovered today?
Yeah, so we're gonna have to replace you, Chris, and we're gonna have to bring Joe on next 2 Mondays from now. Yeah, so yeah,
a few quick, live streams, and then it's just off to brag to the boys, and
oof.
Yeah, well,
so
I guess that was a good time for Chris to maybe tease that he's going to be on a show with a certain Matt, that he has no mercy or Mercer. I don't know, something like that. He's moving up, Angelo. Come on now. You think he was going to stay in the Bush Leagues forever? No, he's going right up there.
Yeah. Right, Chris?
Sure. Okay. Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Weirdly, in March, I'm on a paranormal show.
Really?
Yeah, because we know you're not normal.
Well, that's true, but no, because the farm I sold had ghosts that were actually seen by the other person who hosts the show because we were friends in those days, and he witnessed my friend the Crow, who remembered me for 4 years after I helped him, and actually came and landed on my shoulder in front of my mother, who freaked out about it because it was a big crow. Did not poop on me, rubbed his little beak on me, and then squawked at me until I talked to him for a while.
So how will people be able to watch that?
It's on the Red Road, and I will post some stuff on Facebook that has links to it.
Okay, good.
Yeah. We'll have to post it on the DM and Friends Facebook and then mention it, put it in the show notes or something. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. That's gonna be cool.
Fine day, there'll also be a live stream about me building that Barracuda that's in my garage, but we're not that far yet, so don't worry.
Yeah. Oh, hey, you got some books to write before that happens, all right? So don't get ahead of yourself, dude. We're all counting.
Then I have more books to write because the Metamorphosis thing's coming up.
You got the Metamorphosis. All right. And also another shameless plug for the channel. I think I have another video coming out tomorrow for something. You're going to have to tune into that. But the exciting thing that I want to talk about is on Saturday, I'm continuing the series about the NPC classes. And this one is going to be the Bounty Hunter, which is in Dragon Magazine issue 50 something, I think. Yeah. So the bounty hunter was a pretty neat one to do. And then Monday, our normal video, collab video with Eric Tenkar. I'm going to be recording it tonight. This one's going to be about introducing a player into an established campaign. How do you handle that? So that's coming out Monday.
Good idea.
And what if that player is a well-known, industry person, or me, somebody that
I might reference when we introduced you. Yeah,
somebody with
that was the
a
worst
dozen
thing we did was introducing you into my campaign. Yeah.
Okay.
Worst thing ever. Anyways, you guys, any parting words from our fellow gentlemen up here?
Don't forget the Wisconsin workouts. Although I haven't done.
Don't forget the Wisconsin.
I did got cold, and I don't do Wisconsin workouts in the cold.
It's cold in Wisconsin. Yeah.
And currently, I'm knee deep in a dramatic reading series of. Well, if you've never read the autobiography of a Jewish vagrant, I got you covered because a new one, and I edited his autobiography. Call Me Tennessee, and it's something, all right. It's exciting. It's good shit. It's depressing. It's funny. It's everything
gritty?
in between.
Is it gritty?
Yeah,
okay.
I would say so. And it's
rednecky.
Rednecky. Very rednecky.
Ooh.
It's got Stars
Double
of
bonus.
David and the Confederate
On the cover.
bars on the cover,
Holy
along
cow.
with Korean chicks covered in mud. What's wrong with that? So check that on my channel.
The dress that any woman can afford. Yes.
Think about 8 more episodes left to come out. It took a while to narrate. So, but thanks. It's been a great time as always, Angelo. I love coming on these shows.
Yes,
yeah, man. Thanks for coming on. Yeah, Chris, you too. Thanks for being here. Everyone, just appreciate all the support. This has been a really fun journey. And obviously we love what we do, and we talked for over 2 hours about.
I think it's time.
I don't even remember what do we talking about. Yeah, that's the thing. I should also say that too. So I'm in LA right now. On Saturday I'll be at Strategicon, which is called Orcon here. I'm running 8 hours of Boot Hill. I brought all my stuff in my car. It will be probably live streaming some stuff at the con and maybe taking pictures and doing videos and all that, but you'll see all that too. So having some fun. Giddy up.
Have a great time.
All right, you guys, take care.
Next time.
Everybody take care of yourself. All right. Game on. Bye-bye.